Major League Baseball, America's leading metaphor for how far you went during a hookup. Just 4 days after the season started, with a record 4 million viewers tuning in, it looks like the season is already at risk, with a report today that at least 14 players and coaches on the Miami Marlins have tested positive for coronavirus. And this is a real blow, because the league had been trying literally everything it could think of to try and stay safe.
There's so many things different about Major League Baseball this season, as the Pirates look to wrap up their first series of the season at St. Louis on Sunday. And check this out, your home plate umpire tosses a player from the Pirates. So new manager Derek Shelton goes out there, and new rules: you have to social distance and mask up to argue.
Corona's really changed our lives. Hand me my mask is the new hold my earrings. I mean, seriously, props to these two, because this is an expert demonstration on what it means to take coronavirus seriously. Because yes, these guys wanted to fight, but they also know that coronavirus is waiting to beat both of them up. And if these guys can remember to put on their masks before a fight, you have no excuse when you're going into Walmart. Plus, it definitely slows down a fight when you have to Purell after every single punch. If you ask me, managers and umpires should have always been arguing from 6 feet away. Because have you seen how they normally argue? I mean, look at that. This dude is literally inside the other guy's cap. He looks like a really insane dentist who's angry because his patient forgot to floss. Why aren't you going beneath your gum line? Now, unlike the MLB, the NBA has decided to reduce the risk of corona infections by forcing all the basketball players to live in Disney World for the remainder of the season, what they're calling the bubble. And as of the last round of testing, not a single player has coronavirus. So as long as the players stay in the bubble, everything should be okay. The only issue is, one player decided to visit another magical kingdom.
In the NBA, Clippers guard Lou Williams has been placed in a 10-day quarantine and will miss the first 2 seeding games of the restart. Williams was photographed at the strip club Magic City in Atlanta, Georgia last Thursday. Williams had been excused from the NBA bubble by the team to attend a funeral. Well, he tweeted on Friday that Magic City was his, quote, favorite restaurant in Atlanta, and he was not there to party but to get some wings.
You have got to be kidding me. This guy was allowed to leave the bubble for a family emergency, but then the NBA found out he went to a strip club? How did they bust him? Did he come home with glitter on his coronavirus? And I love that his excuse was that he was only at Magic City for the wings. Not for the strippers, just for the wings. Look, there are excuses out there, but guys, there are tons of places you can get wings in Atlanta. Something tells me he was actually there for the breasts and thighs. Okay, who keeps doing like... Now, with the pandemic continuing to wreak havoc across the US, many people are wondering when President Trump will finally help his country get it under control. But from the looks of things, he can't even seem to get the virus under control in his own office.
And breaking today, Fox News has confirmed that President Donald Trump's national security advisor, Robert O'Brien, has tested positive for the coronavirus. There is no evidence that either President Trump or Vice President Pence came in contact with Robert O'Brien, but this does make him the highest-ranking U.S. official to have contracted the coronavirus.
He recently returned from Europe, where he and his top deputy met with officials from the UK, France, Germany, and Italy.
Yep. President Trump's national security advisor has tested positive for COVID-19. And I love how they're saying there's no way Trump got infected. Of course Trump won't get infected. There's no way Trump has had any contact with his national security advisor. I mean, we all know that. Now, obviously, other staff members can get infected. But what's crazy is that apparently some of them didn't even know about the positive test until they read about it in the news. Yeah, imagine that. The national security advisor got coronavirus. They didn't know about it until they read it in the news. Sort of like the same way some people discover from Instagram that they're now single. Oh, cool, dude, look, Cynthia went to a wedding. Wait, why is she kissing the groom? Ah! So at this point, almost every other place in the world is doing better than the United States. In fact, there's actually one corner of the world that has been untouched by the pandemic. North Korea. South Korea's Wario. And yeah, I'm not sure that I quite believe that they've never had corona, but in any case, North Korea has now officially blown its perfect game.
North Korea is reporting what it calls its first suspected case of COVID-19. A state-run news agency says Kim Jong-un ordered a lockdown for the border city of Kaesong after a defector returned from South Korea last week, apparently infected with coronavirus.
I mean, it's a little redundant for North Korea to order a lockdown. Their national motto is already, "No one can leave. Welcome to North Korea." But still, I'm impressed that North Korea got one coronavirus case and Kim Jong-un immediately ordered a lockdown. Kim was like, "We can't have corona killing North Koreans. That's my job." Now, one part of the story that's really weird is that a defector left North Korea, went into South Korea, but then came back into North Korea. But apparently there's a really good reason for it. Yeah, he didn't leave. He just went to South Korea for some chicken wings.